Good evening and thank you for joining us. I guess, Jack, if we were Canadians going overseas, we'd be teaching the kids there how to play hockey.
Yeah, exactly. So these Lakeland kids got some pretty good instruction from those guys, and we'll have the full story on that coming up.
We'll look forward to that. Sean, a pretty crazy storm blew through Lloydminster last night. I guess there's a bit more on the way, too.
Yes, there is. And as a matter of fact, Environment Canada has issued a severe thunderstorm watch, not a warning, but a watch for the Lloydminster area and the Battlefords, including Unity and St. Walburg area and Maidston. So as we take a look now across our region, we're sitting at 24 degrees, feeling more like 30 with the humidity. And how does that compare across the Lakeland? Same sort of story. And the Battleford's very warm with a lot of hot air and humidity with a lot of clouds in those areas. So the rain is coming. How much should we expect? I'll have all the details coming up a little later on.
A Bonnyville man faced sentencing today after pleading guilty to 4 counts of manslaughter. The vehicle he was driving collided head-on with a car, killing all 4 occupants back on July 23, 2009. 32-year-old Clayton Tyler Prochinski will face 4 years and 11 months of jail time and a 10-year driving prohibition relating to the accident. His blood alcohol level was more than 1.5 times the legal limit.
It seems like he got away with it to me. Like for each person he killed, he got 1 year. My brother-in-law, my sister and 2 nieces got killed. I'll never get to see again.
Prochinski read a tearful and remorseful apology in the courtroom, but family members say they do forgive him, but there'll never be closure.
He'll always be there with me till I pass on, because it still haunts me, it still bothers me.
All 4 victims were from Cahuan First Nations. Maidston RCMP are requesting their public's assistance in solving 2 recent crimes. Between April 18th and April 26th, someone drove onto an oil well site northeast of Maidston and stole 20 cow panels, which are heavy steel fencing portions. And just last weekend, between noon on July 2nd and 2:30 on July 3rd, someone entered a farmyard northeast of Lloydminster and stole 4 water pumps. 3 of the water pumps were Power Fist brand and 1 was a Champion. If you have any information about these or any other crimes, please contact Lloydminster Rural or Maidstone RCMP or Crime Stoppers. The Thorpe Recovery Centre gets closer to opening every day, but the Saskatchewan government is not contributing to the capital fund at all. As Whitney Stinson reports, Thorpe officials say they were counting on that money, but the Saskatchewan government doesn't know why.
These guys are hard at work trying to get patients in beds by December the 1st. They're on track to do that except for one issue.
We had hoped to have some money from the Saskatchewan provincial government and from the federal government, but unfortunately they haven't agreed to provide us with any funds.
Alberta has given them a grant of $10 million and they've received $2.5 million from the community, but the total project cost is $17 million, and Saskatchewan hasn't gotten on board.
I think that when they were ready to move forward with this project, it wasn't something we were at that time interested in funding, and they made the decision to move forward with it.
But that's really not what the Thorpe Recovery Centre Board was looking to hear. After applying 3 times to the Saskatchewan government for funding, they say now they're giving up and going ahead with a mortgage.
We had really hoped that we wouldn't have to have a mortgage, that we would be mortgage-free or nearly mortgage-free, but unfortunately that's not the case.
He says the number of patients they currently serve is an equal Alberta to Saskatchewan ratio. The Saskatchewan government does purchase about 6 beds at the centre, funded through Prairie North Health.
And as they move to their new facility, I understand that the rates are going up substantially to compensate them for the new facility.
No, the increased cost of the beds is simply covering our increased operating costs due to more qualified staff and more expenses that we're anticipating and so on. No, none of the cost of the beds will cover the capital costs at all.
They've even turned to Ottawa for grants. Although healthcare isn't federally funded, Aboriginal and youth programs are.
So we really felt that we should have been entitled to some money under those programs, and we actually applied for about $3 million, but it never got anywhere at all.
But despite these issues, construction is still underway and the grand opening date won't change.
There's no doubt that we'll be able to complete the building. It's going to make our operations a little tougher, obviously, when we have a pretty big mortgage to service every month.
Whitney Stinson, Newcap News.
After months of being closed due to renovations, the front entrance at the Lloydminster Hospital officially reopened today. Crews were cleaning up and preparing for the entrance to become operational again. The redeveloped space has several new features, including automatic doors and a new security desk for after-hours personnel.
We'll have a larger waiting room immediately, and now we're going to move to the internal renovations, and we'll have 2 separate admitting areas, and we'll have a triage nurse sitting with the ER admitting area, and a fast track area where we will have 4 chairs for people to be seen in.
However, that construction is not done yet. Phase 3 is expected to take about 5 to 6 weeks to complete, and it will see a major overhaul done on the ceiling of the front entrance.
The large glass dome over top of the front entrance, which has leaked for many years, is going to finally be removed. There'll be a roof put on there with clear story windows, so we'll still have the sun in the lobby. But during that construction process, there'll be a walkway that people will have to adhere to for their own safety.
The whole project is about half done and is expected to be finished by the end of January 2012. The Federation of Saskatchewan Indian Nations Assembly was at Onion Lake today. The meeting is a model of Aboriginal economic development. Mike Baden was there and explains how getting an education is important in maintaining the success of the Onion Lake First Nations people.
The Onion Lake Cree Nation is one of the largest oil-producing First Nations in Canada, with a number of companies working with them.
We probably produce 10,000 barrels a day in terms of total production.
They now employ more than 650 people that will work full-time on their daily projects.
Oil sands, heavy oil, coal production, and we have a partnership with Black Pearl Exploration, and also CNRL is drilling in New Vista on our lands.
The community of Onion Lake has also had a larger number of graduates from high school this past year. This year, the community of 3,000 people had 48 graduates.
It's the highest anywhere that I'm aware of, even in a public school system. And on First Nations, it's the highest.
Education has always been an important thing for the First Nations.
It's always been a priority since 1980 when the nation took control of the education from Indian Affairs. We basically run it and submit our proposals, budgets, and per the requirements.
The Federation of Saskatchewan Indian Nations Assembly has 3 meetings a year with up to 1,200 people attending. Mike Baden, Newcap News.